live from the island. It's Jock Radio, and it's an honour to welcome my next guest, today's guest, a podcaster, radio presenter, musician, and we've got him here right now. It's Pete Rankin. Possibly one of the reasons that you call that radio exists because, I listened to old Jock Radio, which is your show. And
yeah,
that I'm sure that inspired. I mean, I didn't deliberately rip you off or anything, but
no.
But I think
you were one of the few people that didn't.
But yeah, I guess a good way. Let's just start with Jock Radio because. So just can you? Well, you describe what was old Jock Radio to you?
See, I knew you were going to do that. I should have prepared.
Nobody.
Well, basically,
preparing is the cheat.
When I was a kid, Mark, right, I used to spend all my time wandering around with a little cassette recorder. You know, these little flat ones with the push-down buttons? I got one of those when I was about 10, and I walked around with it all the time, recording everything. And then I started making, like, fake radio shows in it when I was, like, a little bit older. And I would put flat batteries in it so as I could speed up the voices and all that kind of thing. I was obsessed with all that kind of thing all my life. And then I started making like sketches with me and my brother, and we had this idea of a fake radio station one time, and we just kept doing it. And eventually, I can't remember what happened. I played some sketches to Steve when we were at college. We were down at my house having a bit of a booze up, and I played some of them, and he was like, "Oh my God, you've got to get this on the radio anyway." But we never did. And then a few years later, Steve started saying to me, "You know, you can buy software that you can broadcast." This would be about 2000 and, oh my God, 2002, something like that, 2003. You can buy software that you can broadcast actual radio from. So I went home that night, I downloaded software, and we started broadcasting from my flat in Edinburgh, like the next sort of couple of days. And me and Steve were doing it, and we broadcast 7 days a week for about 7 days a week for about 6 or 7 hours a night. Me and Steve, because we were so thrilled, we couldn't believe we were doing it, and we had like 10 people. Maybe 10 people were listening to us, but that was enough. And we just kept doing it, and we just kept doing it. And then it just kind of went on from there, and it just kind of carried it on. And we ended up doing it for more or less 20 years. More or less 20 years.
So I must have missed the early days then, because I think
everyone did.
Yeah.
There was nobody there.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
There was literally.
There was
the first. I'll say about the first listener was a guy called Richard Bray, who actually ended up being on the show as being one of the presenters. I used to look down. I used to look down at the counter. You know, it used to have this counter on the show, and it would tell you how many people were listening, and it would just say 1. You know, that was enough, and we kept doing it. And that was Richard Bray that was listening. And then it would go up to 10. And then we got a server. Somebody gave us a server, and we could take a couple of hundred. And then we'd be broadcasting, and we'd have 100 people listening, which was great, you know. And we'd start talking about something. You'd see the numbers start to fall. And we'd be like, "Oh no, start talking about something else." So we ended up getting rid of that. Can I swear? Is it all right to swear?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, for future reference. So we ended up getting rid of the number counter because that was a disaster. Because that would literally affect everything you do if you're watching numbers going up and down. But yeah, so we were doing basically we were doing what Adam Buxton was doing, except he was incredibly successful, and we were doing the exact same thing. And when we started doing like internet radio, basically. Literally nobody was doing it. 2003, there was hardly anybody doing it. And then not suddenly, but by the end of it, everyone was doing it, which is great. And then it became podcasting. And then this, you'll know yourself, Mark, the the space for a podcast. I mean, everyone and his dog is doing a podcast. It's like there's 10,000 podcasts now. And we were actually putting podcasts, I'm not banging my own drum here, but we were putting podcasts up online, I don't know, 2004.
Yeah.
Putting a couple up a week. We didn't even know what they were. And there was I don't know.
It wasn't called podcast.
No.
It was. Yeah. I remember it. I remember going to the website because I found it through. So for anyone who doesn't know, you're referring to Steve Mason of the Beta Band, and
yeah,
I think it was the old Jock Radio theme song was on the DVD extras. Does that sound about right?
Was it?
Did you not know that?
Oh, on the Beta Band DVD.
Yes, the Beta Band DVD.
Yes, we made a bunch of videos for that. It's quite a funny story.
It's brilliant, man. I remember. I think the first time I met Steve was at the King Biscuit Time concert, and he said that he was just kind of like, yeah, we didn't have any budget, so we had to make videos for things that didn't have a video yet, and I thought it was amazing. You know, I love watching all the videos.
It's far be it from me to go against Steve, but there was a budget. From I believe,
you know what I mean? No, I mean we're talking. This was the pop music era where people were expected to have real budgets.
There was a budget of, I think there was budget of, and I might be wrong here, but I seem to remember the budget was £1,500 per video, per pop video, and Steve said to me, "Well, I had a camera and an editing suite because I was doing that documentary, so I had all the gear." He said, "Why don't we just make the videos and keep the money?" which is exactly what we did.
And the videos were good.
Yeah, they're a budget of zero budget. We spent the money on PlayStation games or whatever, you know.
Because it was on the DVD extras. It was just like old Jock Radio, and I'll maybe play it a wee bit later on for people who don't know it. But yeah, I just seen that, and I was like, "What is this?" So I don't even think Google was a thing. I mean, I don't think people Googled. Certainly wasn't a phrase. You didn't Google something. So I just looked up.
I can't remember. It seems like such an antiquated time.
Yeah,
it all seemed. When I look back on it now, it seems so wind up. It really does. Yeah.
But you had that. But you had the. So I went on the site, and then there was loads and loads. Like I started going through the back catalogue, and then I noticed the other sign saying live Thursday, and I was like, "What is it? You can listen to it live." And there it was. Yeah. It was a live interactive podcast. I mean, what's this? Is people that are listening to this as a podcast. I now do it as a live stream on YouTube, and then we put it out as a podcast. But this didn't have a name. So it was just a radio show, but what made it interesting compared to a lot of the only radio show that I knew of that had the MSN thing, where
that's right. Yes, all the chat was done through MSN. Yeah,
and it felt very futuristic back then to me, anyway.
It was. it was the future. And the funny thing about that is, people would message the show in live, like yourself. I ended up knowing most of those people. I ended up becoming friends with so many of them, and that was probably the brilliant thing about it. That I still know those people today. I'm still in touch with them. You know, our 10 listeners, whatever. No, it was better than that. But the point was, I got the people who regularly messaged in. I ended up knowing them and seeing them and meeting them all. It's the
same as you call that radio as well. It's the same. I mean, you got lurkers that don't comment as well. They put something no comments. So I listen to your show all the time, but you don't always know. But shout outs to the commenters and also shout outs to the lurkers. You don't need to comment if you don't want to. Just enjoy the show. The thing that made, I think, the best bit about Old Jock Radio, those sketches were great. The interviews were great. Obviously, as a Beta Band fan as well, it was good to get an insight for Steve as well. But the brutality of the demo dump, which...
Oh, yeah. God. Yeah. Well, I think...
Can you explain the demo dump to the audience?
Well, it was called Steven Seagal's demo dump. That was what it was called, because I didn't realise that Steven Seagal had a blues band. The actor, the film actor, Steven Seagal, he had this fucking god-awful blues band that I found really amusing that I used to watch every now and again. So I had this sort of fantasy in my head that Steven Seagal was getting sent demos, but we were getting them instead. So it was called Steven Seagal's Demo Dump. So we'd put a call out for people to send their music in a very genuine way. But we made this promise that if you sent it, it would get played, no matter what it was. And that's what we did. We got some really brilliant stuff. I remember you sent the really weird acoustic things in, and it was called the Gyro Babies.
It was still called Gyro Babies. It was a very different sounding band, but yeah, at that time it was just me and Hazy. So we had an acoustic guitar, my dad's acoustic guitar, and it had just been sitting around the house forever, and then a SingStar mic and an old PC, and absolutely no clue what we're doing. So
that's what we had at the other end.
Yeah, like talking to each other through toilet roll tubes. But yeah, it was actually really good because I think that I developed quite a thick skin quite early on because I think that I enjoyed the comedy of everyone else getting destroyed, and then
were we horrible to you?
Yeah,
were we horrible to you, Mark?
It was funny. Yeah, it was. Well, I wouldn't say yous were particularly horrible, but obviously you're reading out the comments of everyone else.
That's it, Mark. I will correct myself there. I never made a comment on the demos. When I think back on it now, I never said whether I liked them, hated them, or not. It was purely
you read out the comments and you laughed at certain ones.
It was purely the listeners that were commenting. And of course, if you're a listener commenting on demos, fuck man, you could be so brutal because it's going through a buffer of somebody else. Yeah, there was terrible things said about people. You know, there really was.
It was an anonymous time as well, so it was just basically all we needed was it was a Microsoft email address. So people were called just, I don't know, Avenging Angel 45 or whatever. You're totally anonymous. And you're talking about a band you've never heard of, because I would imagine, for the most part, it was unknown bands. And so
as Roger Waters would say, the bravery of being out of range. You know what I mean? Only you can say what you want because there was no comeback. But of course, I'm to blame because I read them out.
If you do that, you can find out you get them cancelled, get them fired for their work.
Yeah, I remember. We used to get stuff from all over the world, from literally all over the world, demos. I got one from Canada once from a band, and the band, they got the worst. The band stuck in my head because they were called the Honey Badgers, and they were a Canadian soft rock band, like Nickelback or something like that.
Oh.
And their manager sent me an email and the demo, and I listened to it. It was just like North American soft rock sort of pish, basically. And I contacted, there was a female, I contacted her and I said, look, I don't think you understand the format of the show. I said, I made a promise I would play it, but I said, if I do play it, you'll probably get crucified by the listeners. So I'm just giving you fair warning. Do you want me to go ahead? And she said to me, no, that won't happen. She said, I've got full confidence in my band and that won't happen. So we played the Honey Badgers, recording, which is, inoffensive. There's nothing fucking particularly, but it was just kind of average rock, which that's not what we did. And of course it got absolutely fucking flamed. I mean, really badly flamed to the point where I had to stop reading them out. And, she contacted me about half an hour after the show had gone out. She said I wasn't to put that up online. She was going to sue my ass. And, really raged. I did try and say, but I don't think, probably the American sensibilities didn't understand, that kind of thing at all. So, yeah, the demo dump was fun, but it used to make me cringe. And I used to feel bad because it's a bit like booting a kitten in the balls a lot of the time. So that is why I would not I wouldn't make a comment on it because I didn't want to be the person doing that. But yeah, and we used to get Steve to do it. I think I remember. We had a panel. We'd have a panel and the listeners. Yeah.
if I remember the panel was like you said. I think the panel was trying to show it was a non-partisan panel, but obviously when somebody said something funny about a song that he's obviously didn't like, then obviously everyone burst out laughing.
I don't remember us being particularly cruel, but certainly the listeners were. Well, yeah, I mean, I loved Jukebox Jury. I loved that TV show, and that's what we were trying to do. I liked that. I liked people talking about records, But of course, being old Jock Radio, it all ended up twisted as fuck, basically.
But
I've still got all the demos, Mark. I still have all of them.
What is that what's behind you?
I said I've still got everything. I've still got everything we were ever sent.
Yep. And is that the records that are behind you?
No. They're all on file. I tell you what, I should bring out an album called Steven Seagal's Demo Dump with everything on it.
So I think maybe obviously that average rock band with a manager from Canada.
Yeah.
They've obviously have convinced themselves that they're good. They're objectively good.
Yes.
For us, I suppose because we were at such an early stage, nobody had actually heard our music. So we hadn't had any smoke blown up our arse, and we were under no illusions that we didn't know what we were doing, and we hadn't really we definitely didn't spend any money on the recordings, and we hadn't really put any work into it, I wouldn't say either. So it's quite easy to be destroyed in that environment. But
I thought you were kidding. I thought you were joking.
Yeah, well, we were kind of. I mean, that is the thing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things, at the start. Like, where I'm from, if you say that you're in a band, people say, "Oh, you think you're a rock and roll star."
Yeah.
So, in the interest of self-preservation, it's important not to say you're in a band. Full stop. If you think and if you are going to be in a band, so I thought, that's why a lot of the songs, the first album or the first EP, the demos and stuff, it was kind of things like about bank charges, Jerry McKyle, just trying to be humorous in some way.
Well, we loved the name the Gyro Babies when that popped up. I think you actually called yourself Gyro's Babies on MSN. I think
possibly. I can't remember my MSN. Jack Gyro, Alice.
When that came up, we were like, Gyro Babies. That's fucking good. That's just instantly good, instantly great name. And then I remember you sending stuff. I'm just going, it's a drunk man with an acoustic guitar. With an acoustic guitar, and then
we're drunk. We're definitely drunk.
Yeah, so are we.
Yes. So, but it's the art of music reviews. Like Epi's just commented to say, "Demo Dump sounds like an honest critique. Bring it back." Says like a buzz. Like, I would love to bring it back. If you ever want to do it, Pete, on here, that we could bring it back one night. But
do Demo Dump, yeah.
I wouldn't say honest critique is correct either, because I think that we just came out of the NME era. I think it was just kind of maybe the beginning of post NME, and
I don't know what that means, but
yeah, I just made it up there. It sounds good though, doesn't it? But what I mean,
I just came out of the Sounds era.
Yeah, well, I quite enjoyed reading. But when I think back, it was probably London hipsters just destroying music. They're probably absolute assholes, but you couldn't see them or hear them or anything. Yeah. I enjoyed people not liking music. I thought it was quite fun. It's something I thought I would want to do, but it's a fine art. And
Mark, at the end of the day, people love a bad review. That's the one you want to read.
Yeah.
If you're sitting with the pages open for what's on the cinema and you see a 1-star review, you read it. Because that's what you want to read. It's just one of those things. If everything's good, nothing's good, But
exactly,
yeah.
But I don't think it's an honest critique, because I think what you're having is people trying to outdo each other. So it's kind of like almost like a mob mentality, a very funny mob.
Oh yeah, a pile-on.
Yeah, a pile-on, but everyone's trying to outdo each other to make it funnier. But when it comes to honest critique, you do obviously have your podcast now. What I'm listening to, and that is an honest critique, because I think you're very fair. When you don't like something, you call it out, but you're quite true to your honest opinions. And I was just thinking, I didn't actually bring this up with Rebecca Radical yesterday, but she actually asked me, she's got a new album out with Absolute Rights, and she was asking, would you recommend anyone to send it to for review? And that seems to be a total art form that has just vanished. What was that you said, that if everything's good, then nothing's good? Because now what it was, the only people, the only cogs in the machine that are still turning is people that are PR companies that are paying journalists.
Yeah,
to
and that's boring.
It's terrible. It's terrible. That's not honest.
Yeah.
And is it? There's no one. We've only had one review actually. Shout outs to New Hellfire Club. I think we've only had one review of our entire album, and that's it.
That's
Blues
ridiculous.
Bunny, I think Blues Bunny maybe they've not reviewed us yet, but they usually review our singles. So I think they've just maybe not got around to it or whatever. But even Louder Than War, we got 9 out of 10 for Out to Utopia. We've not managed to get through to them this year. It just seems to be that there's no. Well, I suppose there's no money in the music industry, so people are reviewing for the love of it, and they're getting hassled. Their inbox is just filled with people wanting them to review them. Yeah, and it's a thankless task, I suppose.
I don't get hassled at all. I got a couple of thousand people will watch my review podcast, and that's I'm happy with that. But my reviews are coming from a completely different space than anybody else's reviews. They're not coming from a space of they're not coming from a place of knowledge and critique, really. They're coming from a place of just purely emotional content. Half the time, I don't actually know what I'm talking about, but I don't worry about that. I'm not there for information. I'm not doing information. What I'm doing is edutainment kind of thing. And also, it's really just me showing off, again, as usual. I want it to be a comedy show as much as a fucking review show, And also, I don't really go.
It's hard to make that because I did a couple of reviews for a couple of websites when I was younger, and the idea of being a music journalist appealed to me, but it's really hard to make something entertaining that's actually saying that something's good. So when people ask me, I try and I try and put up a quote. If someone says, "Can you get me a wee review?" I'll try my best, but it's quite hard to write well and make it interesting. And that's why it's great what you do. And I think also what makes your show different is you're basically going from the entire past of your musical knowledge. So it doesn't need to be new stuff.
No, my podcast is called "What Am I Listening to and Why?" So that is the truth of it. It is the 6 LPs but I do it every fortnight. It's the 6 LPs that have been on my turntable in the fortnight, and that might be 1 new album, 2 old albums. There is no kind of. I'm not trying to make people like records or buy records or be into this and not into that. I'm not trying to do any of that at all. In reality, I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm trying to do. All I just know is that if you can talk about these things, and I know what I do is for people who are around about my age, maybe a bit younger, maybe a bit older. That's all I'm trying to do. It's not for the kids. They would look at me and go, "What the fuck is he doing?" It's not for the readers of the NME. It's for people who maybe remember that record. And, I do a fair amount of slagging on that thing, but it's all good natured, but I don't really mean any of it. It's, like I say in the thing, don't get upset. It's more to do with my memories and how I feel rather than what the records are really like,
Also, I think an important point is that a lot of the artists that you're referenced into have already had successful careers.
Yeah, what do they care?
It's not what you're punching. It's different. You're not punching down maybe like an NME guy would have been doing to an upcoming band.
No,
this is somebody that's it could be someone that's internationally successful and a millionaire in a penthouse, and you're just saying, "I think that album was shit." So
yes,
I'm sure
that's why I don't review albums of people I know, really, because what good would it do? Because I'd have to sit and think, "Oh no, can this be?" If I was to review your album, I'd be thinking, "Oh, say I didn't like it. I wouldn't know what to fucking do because I wouldn't want to hurt you."
It's okay. It's okay, man. I've learned through the demo dump. I'd rather have a bad review for you. I'd wear your bad review with pride. It's okay.
I did a review of a band that I noticed you'd done a thing. You know that band, the Tenementals?
Yes. We had them in the show.
No, I did a.
We had them in the show.
Yeah, I know. I saw that, and I did their album about a month ago, and I gave it a pretty lukewarm review, really. And then that was one of the few that I kind of felt bad about, because in reality I didn't know anything about them, Mark. You know, I didn't research them, and I just played the record, and then I felt kind of bad about it because I thought, oh, and then you can tell me, are they are they a project? Are they a band? What are they?
So my understanding is that, so I think it feels to me like it's a kind of university. I think they're all university lecturers, maybe.
Yeah, I did make a thing about that.
I didn't research too much myself. Basically what happened was, is they had a single that was absolutely brilliant. What was it called? The Phoenix of the... It's an amazing...
The Owl of Minerva.
Yes, the Owl of Minerva.
That is an amazingly great record.
Yes, absolutely. So
it really is.
And then the Minerva Wakes is obviously is Joe Diarc for Gyro Babies as well. So I remember the Owl of Minerva.
Yeah.
I was blown away with that video, and I noticed that they had an album launch coming up. So I said, just want to come on. And it was a nice conversation we talked about, sort of left-wing politics, but in a historical sense. So I think it's very academic. It's a kind of academic, dense project. And I've not really listened to the album properly myself yet, but it's, the Owl of Minerva was an interesting record. So I've not really got...
Cracking, it sounded like a Scottish fall to me. It was cracking. I really loved it. Yeah. But my point is, I'm only bringing them up to say because I've done something that was quite local and da-di-da-di-da, I suddenly had a sort of pang of, fuck, I shouldn't have said that and I shouldn't have done that, and so I'll probably avoid doing things like that, really. But,
Well,
I didn't know what it was.
I didn't know. I
just had the record.
Yeah, sorry, man, I didn't know what it was. But yeah, no, I think they'll be fine. They've had loads of great reviews. Like you can't just. They've actually had lots of press, and it's all been positive. And I think
good on them.
They're doing fine. They could take a lukewarm review, and it wasn't a bad review.
Good.
It wasn't exactly your hue and cry review.
No.
Can you explain to me?
No.
You were talking about hue and cry. Now I know very little about hue and cry. It was a bit before my time.
You're a lucky man.
So, Paul, could you just explain to the listeners what hue and cry, the scene, was a late 80s soul scene in Glasgow? While I just get my charger, I'll make you full screen. You can explain it while I get my charger.
Oh, that's great. Just hand me the fucking show. Jesus Christ.
I'm listening.
Yeah. Well, I did in the late 80s, there was a kind of, Mark says soul scene, but there was a kind of music scene in Glasgow that I was kind of involved in bands and stuff, but I didn't really like it. And there was lots of what I would call real fucking poser bands, and hue and cry were probably maybe the ones that I liked least. And on my show, What Am I Listening To and Why, I gave them a bit of a fucking tongue lashing. But it was kind of tongue in cheek. It all got a little bit out of hand. Boys will be boys. Maybe I said things that I regret. I don't know. But it was a horrible scene, Mark. It was a terrible scene. And it sounds like I'm having a go at Glasgow, and I'm slightly am at that point. Because I tell you what it was. You know what was wrong with all of that? It was so fucking elitist. It was the most elitist thing I've ever seen in music. And I spent a lot of time in Glasgow in the late 80s in cocktail bars, poncing around with fucking bands. And it was horrible. And I found them really repugnant. And then there was the Two Little Boys thing, which happened about 10 years ago, which put the tin lid on it, if you've ever seen them doing that, which is horrible.
I only learned that from you. But they did a Rolf Harris cover. Wait a minute, sorry. I thought they did the Rolf Harris cover like a long time ago. It's only 10 years ago they did Rolf Harris.
Yes, I can't. Maybe slightly more than that, but not much more. Because the guy playing the piano, the other brother, he looks like Victor Meldrew in that clip. The years have not been fucking kind. But
They
yeah,
chose to do a Rolf Harris. They chose to do a Rolf Harris cover after all the stuff came out about him.
No, I don't think. I don't think they did. It was just a terrible mistake.
For many reasons.
On every fucking level that you can imagine. So yeah, that's the only band that have ever received a 0 in What Am I Listening To and Why. So, they did it. They did it. I chose it.
Yeah.
They probably don't deserve it.
Jigsaw Tiger, hello Stuart, hello. So Epi says, I was being polite, I didn't want to say it. Sounds like a piss ripping exercise on the barely talented hopefuls amongst US. No, Demo Dim wasn't. It wasn't. It was just about. It was Scottish people as well.
Yeah, I think that everyone understood the game. I mean, I really do. I don't think people like I say, the only people that genuinely got upset was that Canadian band because they didn't understand the game, and I tried to explain it to them, and they didn't understand it. But I think everyone else. I mean,
how did they find you? Like how was?
Do you know what? I probably imagine it was some fucking PR person who's going, right, let's find independent radio people to send it to, without really knowing what they were doing. In reply to what the guy said there, yes, but you wouldn't be listening to Old Jock Radio unless you were up for that. You just wouldn't be. You wouldn't be involved in it. It was only because if you sent it to you sort of not knowing what it was, you probably saw, they probably went on the internet and went radio and saw that. You know what I mean? It really would be. And I tried to explain. So yeah, yes. I mean, I think it was a comedy that we were all taking part in, really. We're not hateful people.
We've got, going back to the most horrible scene of all time. So it's the 80s. You get Hue and Cry, they get their 0.
Yeah.
What else do you remember of that time? Because this seems to have been sort of swept under the carpet.
I remember.
I don't know anything about this.
Well, I was in a band in that era called Joe Public, and we were desperately trying to make it. And we were kind of, we were on the bottom rung of that scene trying to scrape up it. And so we were doing a lot in Glasgow and recording, playing fucking hundreds of gigs in Glasgow. And so you find yourself in the middle of that scene, which I really didn't like it at all. I felt incredibly uncomfortable. To me, it felt like it was full of horrible grown-ups with expensive clothes who kind of looked down on you. And I didn't understand.
Where did everyone drink? These cocktail bars you speak of, what is there anything still going from that era, or has it all changed?
I can't remember. But I mean, I used to sort of go to them, not wanting to go to them. But because of what we were doing in the band, we had to try and be seen in the right cocktail bar. It genuinely was like that, Mark. The music industry, music now, I don't imagine it's anything like that at all. But it was all, it was all social climbing. And to me, everyone looked like an adult who was should have been on a yacht. Maybe it was the yacht rock time. Is that a thing? That is a thing, isn't it?
Yacht rock.
It is. That's the real thing. But yeah, it was just sort of the late 80s, and there's an awful lot of really bad music done there. I know, because I did some of it myself. So, there was a lot of bad stuff, and I was never comfortable because I didn't feel like I was really tall and good looking and could sing like Pat. That was not. I didn't understand why. I never understood why we were trying to get into that. To me, I would have been running the other way. I come from like a punk background, so it just didn't. I was really uncomfortable with it. But we did lots of gigs in Glasgow, and I can't even remember one venue we played. But oh god, what was the big studio? Was it Savoy? Is that
Savoy, the club?
Savoy. No, the big recording studio in Glasgow at that time was Savoy.
Berkeley, I think it's one of the oldest. Carlton Studios has been there for a while. I don't know when that opened exactly, but we still go to Carlton. The Carlton Studios. Yeah. Duncan Stark says, just looked at the Hue and Cry album with Two Little Boys on. Glad to have avoided that. So it was on an album. I thought it was like a.
Was it? Oh my god! Fucking hell! That's crazy. Crazy.
And you and
I think
you're doing okay. You and Cry doing, are they all right?
well, no, but clearly not. But I don't know. I think it was something. It was something to do. They were doing it as a protest song on some war that we were involved in, and they would sing it very earnestly. And I remember Pat Kane being incredibly proud because he'd written an extra verse. I mean, come on. And you saw that, two little boys. I was like, oh my God, this is going to take a week. Yeah, it's just misplaced, just fucking misguided. But it's one of these things that when you see it, you can't help fucking taking aim, can you? You can't help it. It's just,
was it Cava Studios? Jigsaw Tiger asks.
Yeah, I think that was it. I thought it was called Savah. I remember that place.
Yeah, well, you've got you just one letter out. You're one letter out.
All right. I remember. I think we were recording there one time, and it was in the winter, and it was bloody freezing. I remember I used to go out from the studio and walk to buy these buy fucking bacon rolls somewhere, and I used to always see this tramp standing in the same place. And I said to him one time, I said, "Why are you always standing here?" It's because he was standing on the grate of the bakery, so it was heat that was coming up, keeping him alive. I just think, God, it was so bad. He had to stand in this one spot to stay alive.
Fuck
Jesus. I know. It's worse now.
Is this Mary's Prayer a Hue and Cry reference from Gizmo?
No, Mary's Prayer, that's Danny Wilson from Dundee. They're a lot better than that. A lot better. Not my kind of bag, but they're a Dundee band. That's all. They're not in the same kind of. I don't know why. Like I don't know why I picked on Hue and Cry. It was fucking low hanging fruit. I was in the record shop and I saw it for £2, and I thought, oh, I can fucking destroy that, and that's what I did. That's how fucking cynical it was. Because every time I do the thing, I have to find one really bad record to talk about because I feel that people enjoy a bad review.
People love a bad review.
It's not an accident.
I would love a bad review from yourself. For anyone listening, feel free.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
I just want an album to be reviewed. We've had a couple of bad reviews before, and although it stings a wee bit at the beginning, it's really good to like even get a screenshot of someone saying something bad, because it usually gets people to laugh that they kind of don't really like you, and it gets people that do like you to kind of take your side.
We used to get. Me personally, I used to get quite a bit of abuse for old Jock Radio, and I used to find it, horrible. It used to upset me. Like not upset me. Oh, how dare they? Just on a very personal level, that somebody would be saying, because a lot of the time my phone number was in the show. I used to come home sometimes and there'd be messages calling me a cunt, and that's fucking hell. And then I had people follow me around. I used to have a guy I called him You in the Bushes, because when I used to come out of my flat in Edinburgh, I'd find him walking along beside me, and he would just start talking to me, and stuff like that. I was frightened they're going to pull out a fucking hammer and stuff,
Yeah, well, there's no music. There's no music reviews. So I think the art is gone. So how can people listen to your podcast if they want to?
What I do,
I listen on Facebook, but is it on anything else?
I go straight to Facebook because it seems to be the most instant way to get a couple of thousand hits.
Yeah,
over a week,
Well,
and then what I do once it's been on Facebook for a couple of weeks, I dump it onto YouTube, where it gets no action, none. I'll get I'll get like 60 or 70, maybe 200 if I'm lucky, right? Mostly it's in the sort of, I'll get 50 or 60 hits on YouTube. I don't promote it at all on YouTube. I see as YouTube as a place to just really store them. But if anybody wants to see them, and I think there's 35 episodes, they are on the Old Jock Radio YouTube, and probably the last, there's 2 ready to go up again. As I say, I put them on there for storage, but if, people watch them, that's great. But really, you want to be on the Peter Rankin Facebook. And I drop what am I listening to and why every second weekend, mostly, if I can manage it. Sometimes I get in a real panic and I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Pressure. So self.
It's good to give yourself a wee deadline. And what I would recommend, I think that's the reason I decided to go. We used to multi-stream to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, but I just went with YouTube because it feels like things can people. It seems to like videos come back on YouTube. Well, I feel like sometimes Facebook it has a spike and then it just goes away forever. So it's good that you're keeping it for perpetuity.
We know.
Yeah, I think
we know what we mean.
Do that,
yes.
But also what I'd recommend as well is I use Castos. It doesn't need to be Castos, but I've got a referral code for Castos if you want it. And once it's a wee bit, you need to connect up all your RSS feed and all that. It's boring. I'll explain that to you offline. But then, so at this, for example, I will take this, maybe iron out some sound issues, or I'll get Mako sometimes helps me if I need some help with the production side of things. Then it goes. I just upload it once, and it goes to Apple, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and all the multiple, all the podcast platforms.
Speaking of Spotify, pretty much all the Old Jock Radio, I maybe put the last 4 years of Old Jock Radio on Spotify. It's all been removed. I get an email every week saying we're removing another 3 of your shows. So don't go to Spotify for Old Jock Radio, but you can still catch this on. I can't remember on the other what do you call it? Streaming podcast platforms. Yes, you can still get the last kind of, I don't know, maybe 40 Old Jock Radios, which are good. They're good quality ones. They're still there as far as I know, but Spotify has just fucking said, no, you're not getting it. I think it's probably because we play music and I didn't realize you had to take the music out. We played about 5 records per show. And I didn't clip them out. I just fucking uploaded them,
Yeah, you probably you've maybe played something like a Motown, or they've got the strictest lawyers in the game. So you've maybe
fucking Pink Floyd. Never play any Pink Floyd. You immediately they kill you immediately. I made a mistake on a Facebook broadcast once when I was a DJ broadcasting a couple of years ago. And it was going for 2 hours. There was plenty of people. I played a tiny little bit of Pink Floyd. It was over. So they seem to be the worst.
Pink Floyd, Motown. There's just certain things that you just can't get away with playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, as well, it's also it's changed now because of the AI technology. So that's why we stopped streaming to Facebook mainly. That was the main reason, because we kept on getting cut off all the time. And it seems like YouTube seems to have has made some sort of deal with the record labels now, the majors, which means that they get the monetization of the show, which doesn't bother me because there's absolutely we are monetized, but we don't really get much share.
Well, I find that when I put my review videos up on YouTube, on Old Jock Radio YouTube, by the way, when I put my videos up on there, sometimes I get a little triangle telling me it's not able to play in a certain country, but I don't know what country that is. I don't know if it's America or Luxembourg. I don't know.
If you click onto it, it'll tell you. So sometimes it's just things like Russia and Azerbaijan. And then other times,
Azerbaijan,
So I did a Donald Trump there. We'll go into Donald Trump in a minute. But your pal, you seem to be really enjoying hating Donald Trump.
No, I don't. No, and that's the truth, Mark. I'm not enjoying it. I enjoy it on a certain level, but I also just find it so absolutely gut-wrenching at the same time. It is just horrific, and I can only watch a little amount, and I spend my whole life going, "Oh my God, surely not! Oh my God, I can't believe what's happening." But obviously, the big march the other day was incredible, and that's the first sort of good bit of Donald Trump news that I've seen, really. But no, I mean, you'd think I would enjoy it. It is the sort of thing I do enjoy, but I actually don't. I do see quite a lot of it. Dodd watches a lot of it, and I see it. with him, but I can only take too much. I can't take too much. I start to feel depressed. Genuinely.
I think that the thing is that just the lack of consequences that ever seems to happen but so it was good to see like the biggest protest in US history apparently. And I seen quite a funny meme, and it's like when you spend £61 million on a birthday military parade, and there's like 10 people in a tank, and then it's like
squeaky wheel,
and it compared to when the whole country thinks you're a dick, has a day to call you a dick, and there's just millions of people out there, and he responded with an AI video of him flying a plane over
wearing a crown.
Or is it? It's an Instagram influencer. I don't know who the guy is. He's wearing the crown, and he's shite, and it's like loads of shite comes out the airplane on top of
landing on the crowd.
It's an Instagram influencer. I think he's a lefty Instagram influencer or something like that.
Well, it lands on the crowd. It lands on the crowd of protesters.
One of the guys is a.
All right. Okay.
He's a real person. With 800,000.
Well, I mean, what do you take from that? There's your president dropping shite on the people. Well, he nailed it himself. He nailed it himself, didn't he? He's made his own statement. But I saw him hanging on the plane the other day, and somebody asked him about the protests, and he said, "What was it? Very small, totally, and these people do not represent very, very small." And you just think, is that what he actually thinks? I think it might be. I think people come in and he asks them what's going on. They say, "Well, it's very small, Mr. President," and that's basically it. I think he's surrounded by sycophants who tell him what he wants to hear. He doesn't know. I get the impression he has no idea, really. He probably really thinks it is very small.
I think he's wrapped up in his own. I mean, he's fake it till you make it thing. He's taken that to new extremes, where he's going to be the dictator of the world just by pretending that nobody knows more about anything than him. I mean, that's sort of classic traits.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I would say I can agree that it's a kind of his version into delusional. The fact that
I think it very much so.
Sir. That's when every time he says, someone came up to me and said, "Sir," and this is like a little conversation that he's had in his head, because I don't see many people going up and calling him sir.
Yeah, big man crying. Oh, that's when you hear the word "sir," you know the next sentence is a fucking lie. That's all. That's all I can gather from it all. But obviously, I'm speaking obvious here, but obviously Donald Trump, he doesn't know his history. He doesn't know the history of dictators and what happens to them. They end up hanging from fucking lampposts, and he will too, either literally or metaphorically. But he will end up hanging from a lamppost eventually. It's not. This isn't going to win. It isn't going to stick. It will be over, and once it's over, there'll be a lot of people who will be accountable, and that's going to be an even uglier time for America, I think, in a lot of ways.
And that's why you're starting to get some of the sort of the right-wing Republicans that can sense a change in the air, and they're starting to, like Tucker Carlson. He's just
Tambourine Green.
I certainly don't like Tucker Carlson, because he's a proper grifter. But if you look at people at him, the way that he's just suddenly turned on Donald Trump, because he knows that there is a change in the. I think that there's a few of his right hand men that are starting to go. What's the woman Republican that was quite
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes, MG. Yeah, that's the one. MG.
Tambourine Green, I call her.
Yeah. So she's now. So I think that do they maybe have some knowledge that the Epstein files is going to drop, and he is going to, everyone will turn on him.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I don't know. I mean,
I think they're trying out the whole. I mean, the people that are really have been fell into the Trump wormhole. There is people that even if he was on the Epstein files, it wouldn't move them. They would just say that it was fake news, or that one about being about an FBI double agent and stuff like that. That's a
crazy
good one.
I think the thing that amazes me most about all of it, Mark, is the fact how much everyone bent over for it. That's what astounds me. Where it's even the the judges and people, how much people have actually bent over for that. I find that incredibly shocking. I mean, you've got the hardcore base, the maggots, and they seem to be like pretty low intelligence people. Like I always like the slugs voting for salt. Salt, we want salt. That's how I see them. But it's when you get like judges and all high-end people, and they all just sort of go, and go along with it. That's it. Everyone talks about, all the checks and balances to make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen. Every fucking one of those checks and balances is just fucking folded.
Well, I think they're compromised. My opinion on them is, like, when you look at all the different people, so, like, for example, just got away from MAGA a wee bit, but in general, there's usually, you can normally tell, like, for example, you've got someone like Tommy Robinson, who's obviously doing it he's doing it for money. In my opinion, it's quite obvious that he doesn't actually care about anything that he's talking about, but he gets paid a lot of money to cause division. So that's what so I understand his game. I certainly don't like it. I think he's reprehensible, but I can see that he's just a grifter out to make some money. I don't know why I'm using the word grifter though. When did I start using that word? But it's a good word. It explains what we're talking about.
It is what they are. I mean, it is what they are.
You've got the sycophants who are usually, maybe...
Good name for a band.
Some of them are low intelligence. Some of them are... they want to believe that they're on the right side of history, and now they've put so much effort into it. They were the ones that were saving the children. They were the ones that were going to expose Hillary Clinton and all that. And now the fact that the guy that they thought was their hero, it's hard for them to walk it back. They can't believe that they've been fooled for this long. And then you get other people who, like Keir Starmer, for example. I can't tell, because the higher end people are probably blackmailed because they're on the Epstein list as well. So like that way, a lot of the judges and stuff are probably involved. But yeah, Starmer is a strange one because he's very robotic. It doesn't seem to be clear to me as he's obviously not. He can't be low intelligence. He surely doesn't need the money. All I can assume is that they've got something on him. I don't know. Is he blackmailed? Why is he the worst prime minister of all time? Right now, is he?
I don't know.
Talk about how Israel football fans, right wing football thugs, are not allowed to come to Birmingham. He's really upset by this, and it seems what is going on there.
I actually don't know. I haven't paid much attention to that. I'm terrible. I've kind of shut myself down on a lot of that. You say he's the worst prime minister of all time. Wow. I mean, I genuinely don't know that. I have no idea.
I'm talking from a popularity point of view. We can factually state that because
he's very unpopular. I can tell that.
Everybody in the left despises him, and everybody in the right. Everyone in the right thinks he's a communist, and
which is fucking wing. all that communist stuff, especially in America, that drives me absolutely crazy. And communist, it's just, oh my God, it's just so infuriating.
Joe Biden's a Marxist, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it was really funny when what's that Nazi Barbie that's the press spokesman in the White House? I think when she stood up the other day and said that the Democrats were nothing more than a bunch of Hamas terrorists. and what was it she said? Hamas terrorists, communists, and all that kind of thing. I think she might have actually, overstepped the mark there then, because she's basically taken half the country and calling them terrorists. And I think anybody with even a spoonful of brain, no matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, simply knows that is just not fucking true. And if they're going to go with that, that is the kind of thing that could destroy them. I keep saying that, but it never does. And you always think, oh well, that's going to be the thing that's going to destroy them, and then it fucking isn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's unprecedented times with the amount of times that you think, well, that's got to be that it was Obama, was the scandal of Obama having a selfie stick back in the day, using a selfie stick. Caused chaos. It caused chaos in Fox News.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Look it up.
I'm sick and tired of watching MAGA idiots defending pedophilia. I just can't get with it. I think if you've got to that point, If that's the puddle you're standing in, well, fucking forget about it. It's done.
What they say is it's not just they just both sides it. It's the Democrats too. So you'll never get. I've not seen anyone defending the Trump. They'll just say it's fake news, or they'll say the other side are even worse. That's the level of internet now of discussion is you're a hypocrite. No, you're a hypocrite because your side did that as well.
Yeah, and I know it's really impossible. I don't know. I was speaking to someone about this today. I don't know how long it's going to take to fix all this. Imagine, Mark, if it ended tomorrow, they were gone, and they started to try and fix it. I mean, would it take 10 years to roll back all that shit? I mean, God knows.
The social media algorithms just split up so many friends and families with fake news and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think that there's. I think the majority of it can't be fixed. Sadly, in our lifetime.
Well,
you can maybe build a better future for the other people, but I don't think that.
But even politically in America, how long is it going to take to fix all that bloody stuff? I mean, we're going to. The chances are we might have reform in here in a couple of years running the show.
Very likely.
And that's just going to be the same gig. That is going to be the same gig. That's terrifying. That genuinely turns my fucking blood to ice to think that that's going to happen.
The only thing that you can, I suppose that the worst things happen. The worst things that Trump does is bad. Because right now. There's still a few years before the election, so it all depends on what happens in America. And then, because obviously the whole thing has been make England great again. It's almost like it's a mega instead of a MAGA, and it's that.
Oh no, is that happening?
Oh yeah, it's definitely. Elon Musk is funding these people, so he's funding Tommy Robinson to Tommy Tel Aviv Tommy. I said someone called it the other day. They're funding him. To be more extreme than, say, Farage, to make Farage look centre. And then towards the end, Robinson will say, actually, let's get behind Farage. And that's what Musk will do. They're all going to get behind Farage to be the next Prime Minister. And that is quite terrifying. But the things are not going well in America for Trump. He's going a bit too far. And
no, I think he could lose. I mean, he might do really bad in these midterms. He may well do.
But I mean, Trump's not planning on leaving that office, because if he leaves that office, he'll probably get arrested. So he's just going to barricade himself in, and that's why he's got all the ICE agents going from state to state. Just
the brown shirts.
The brown shirts, but the brown shirts aren't even trained, so they're like tear gassing themselves and shit.
Good.
So yeah, that is a bit of good news that the ICE agents and ICE agents are arresting the police. They're arresting. I
saw that. Yeah. I mean, at one point they're going to go in, and I mean, they don't seem to go for the gangs that they talked about. They seem to be rushing into schools and zip tying children. I never see them going for these kind of Venezuelan drug gangs or anything, but they don't seem to do it because they know they get fucking shot. But people are going to fight back. Talk about, they go for the easy stuff. Somebody standing at a gas station who has a brown skin, and they're all, oh my God. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't know what I can do about it.
I miss the old days of the political scandals where it was just Ed Miliband eating a bacon roll wrong, and then
I think we're way beyond that, man. We're way past any. Nothing makes any sense to me anymore. I find it all just so. I've got to the point where I kind of switch it off a lot of the time because I just don't know what to. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. I keep a little eye on this and that, but I feel so out of control, and not personally, but just I feel out of control. I feel that everything's so out of control, and that everything is so extreme. Everything just feels so extreme. Bits of the left feel really extreme and crazy to me. And the right wing seems absolutely fucking nuts. Where's the center ground? Well, the center ground is now far right.
Yes, sorry, man.
I was going to say I've gone from being your average center left bedwetter, right, I've gone from being that to a fucking communist terrorist. And I haven't changed. I haven't changed. Something has swung, and now I am a communist terrorist instead of a sort of, just center-left, let's be nice to people kind of type person. I'm now a communist terrorist without ever doing anything, which is great. How long is it going to take for that pendulum to come back to some form of normality? I don't know.
Well, I think everybody's trapped in their own little algorithm, so it could be a while. But I think on the positive side, I think that I've been on this a wee nice island for a week, and people.
Yeah, where the hell are you?
I'm in a secret location. I don't want to tell people, because if I tell people, then I might know somebody that want to go for drinks, and I've got a publishing deadline, so I'm just.
It looks like you're at your granny's house.
I'm renting a house from a lovely person who may be watching the show. So shout outs. But yeah, people are in general. I think that what you're forgetting is that the people that comment on these things, they sound extreme because they're extremely pissed off, and it becomes because the country's been managed so badly for a long time. It's just people have different ideas on who's to blame. But the majority of people are just, I think the silent majority aren't commenting and arguing on the internet. They're just trying to go on with their lives. They're too busy to watch the news. And hopefully there can be some sort of alliance on the left whereby, that's why people always talk about Corbyn's against Boris. But the thing that ruined that was the deal that Farage and Boris made, that alliance where they wouldn't compete in certain areas. So if I don't know what your party are doing just now, but the Greens have just overtaken the Tories this week as having more members.
That is funny.
That is funny. And so if there could be some sort of, unfortunately, the left aren't renowned for alliances and keeping the peace and not arguing and infighting. But if there could be some sort of alliance here, like just put your shit to the side. Let's get let's not compete.
In my opinion,
yeah.
In my opinion, there's always something wrong with the left. They always seem incredibly inept. They just seem to walk around missing open goals all the fucking time. I don't understand why. Even when you used to look back on like radio and stuff, right? You've got all these right-wing shock jock, radio stations, right? And yet there was nothing on the left that was, I don't mean shock jock, but there was nothing on the left to compare because they're so fucking good at that. They are so fucking good at getting on the airwaves and just fucking punching their message through. And yet the left don't seem to have that kind of thing at all. But to counteract that, I would also say you get a lot of great left-wing comedians, and when the right try to do comedy, fucking hell, it's just. Or well, I don't know what is. Tell me some right-wing music. I must review it.
I'm actually going to do. I'm going to do a show called "The Right Wing Has No Tunes" very soon.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I've noticed there's a pattern of the amount of times that Donald Trump or for example, Tommy Robinson's freedom of speech rally. That they used a James song, and James obviously hit them with a cease and dismiss.
Yeah. Well, did they use sit down? I would imagine.
Of course, they're not exactly going to be picking a classic from the back catalogue. On a forgotten gem. They're going to go for the most popular song. The populace will go for the popular songs.
Sit down next to me, Tommy Robinson. Sit down next to me. Aye, right. Yeah, fuck off. Trump's been hit with lots of cease and desist. Apart from actually YMCA, they got paid money and decided just to. I think they performed. I find that so strange. I mean, that's a gay anthem, isn't it?
It's a gay anthem. Yes, it doesn't.
So why the fuck is he up there going fucking this thing? What to YMCA? I don't. That doesn't make sense to me. That just feels. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think Trump likes music at all. Why? Well, he doesn't listen to music.
There's a video of him dancing with Elon Musk, and it looks like they've just literally landed on this planet.
Wow.
Sort of. I think there's also a video with Trump with Rudy Giuliani. Remember
Rudy Giuliani, yeah.
Rudy,
Yeah.
and Rudy's in drag, and Trump motorboards him. This is 2001.
Wow.
I wouldn't advise you look that video up, but it's a real thing. It's
Wow.
before AI. But this is the problem. They've got AI coming in now. Now at the moment, it's still quite obvious to me, who's fairly, because I'm quite online, and I'm a video editor, I can usually tell telltale signs. But how long before? Right now, it's just kind of boomers, older people, and younger people, and people that are maybe just trying to push an agenda that are falling for it. But how long until AI is so good that we just don't know the difference?
Not long, I would say. I mean, I don't want to start going on about AI, but that whole thing terrifies me. It doesn't seem like a force for good at the moment, unless some kind of fucking rules come into play about, not about what you can do, but about at least telling people what you've done. I've heard, I heard music. Sorry.
You tried to do that, and Trump said no. So Trump said that AI is going to stay. No, so he's allowing AI, but there is a chance that AI might come to bite him in the arse as well. So there's always that. That'll be funny when that happens. But he doesn't need AI. Can't really destroy him because he's doing things that it can only benefit him because he can just say, "Oh, it's AI." So
look, I think. I'll put my ass on the line here. I don't think Trump has very long to live. Really.
Yeah.
I see a man that is really degenerating. He's turning to dust from the inside out. I would be surprised if he made Christmas.
Well, that's what I was going to say when you said that it always ends with someone hanging from a lamppost or whatever. Because I don't think that. I think he's not a healthy man, and I know people are like, you've seen videos of him sleeping and stuff, but to be honest, that is some schedule to be doing at that age. It seems exhausting. I didn't even want to be a president in the first place. I don't know why people. I don't think people.
He's golfing his ass off, as far as I can see.
But he's still got to do these press conferences every day. I mean, maybe he just likes that. But I just think
he doesn't do them. That Levitt woman does them, doesn't she?
Well, I suppose. He is
Nancy Barbie with a cross that's burning her.
Well, if I was a millionaire, I would find another way to spend my time than be a president. But I think the reason he's president this time was to avoid jail, in my opinion. I don't think he actually wanted to do any work. But I don't know. I just think that, would you not like to just retire with your millions? Sounds nice. Maybe be a drunk guy with an acoustic guitar. Just rather than having to deal with the press every day.
Well,
sounds shit.
Well, I don't know what'll happen, but I don't see him. If he loses big in the midterms, he'll probably kick him to the curb and replace him with somebody else.
They released the Epstein files and bring in J.D. Vance. And the last thing I want to say on Donald Trump, I want to get back to music before we go. The last thing I want to say about is South Park. Shout outs to South Park, who have been watching any of the new season.
I've only seen clips, and they're absolutely fucking amazing. Just like, thank you for doing that. Thank you.
They've went all out this time with
Trump
and J.D. Vance. And
somebody has to. It has to be done. It has to be done.
And I think they're also.
It's not a popular show. The show's failing. Nobody watches it. Yeah, right. Yeah.
But that has quite a cultural impact because people like your Joe Rogans and your stand-up comedians who have sort of switched to the right, discussing right-wing talking points. They've always hailed South Park as freedom of speech, and now it's kind of made talk about it.
Suck it up, Buttercup, on that level. It's not freedom of speech, right? Yeah, okay.
Back to music. We talked about hue and cries at Only Ever Zero.
Let's not talk about it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just a segue. What's your tens?
My favorite music? Oh, man, it changes all the... what tens it's been on the...
Just your podcast, tens.
I think there's been 110 on the show. And I can't remember how boring. I can't remember what it was. I honestly can't. I'll make it up. It was Tangerine Dream. I don't know. I really don't know. I listen to now because I'm doing this fucking thing. I now listen to music, which is my favorite thing to do. Listening to music is my absolute favorite thing to do. I'm quite happy to sit at night, listen to music all night. That's what I do. But I have to listen to so much. I listen to so much stuff that I no longer have favorites. I have very intense love affairs with stuff for a few weeks, and then I have to move on. So I got into Bebop Deluxe and Spirit. They were the things that I got into. Old man stuff, recently, and had a really intense thing with that for a couple of weeks, and then it's not that I don't like it anymore. It's just gone. Next. That's the way it has to be.
I enjoyed your review of the Beastie Boys recently.
I did them, yeah. I love the Beastie Boys. I've always liked them since after the first album. I didn't get that at all, as I explained in the review. But yeah, I love the Beastie Boys. I think they're. You know what I think? I fucking said it all. I really enjoyed the audiobook. I listened to the audiobook when I was on holiday. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to listen to that golfing book. It's the golf book by Oliver Horowitz. His golfing book, An American Caddy in St Andrews. Well, no, neither do I. Well, no, I do. I'm from St Andrews, but his book, American Caddy in St Andrews, I'm going to read that now because I know the perspective that it's coming from. It might be interesting, and it'll probably have lots of people in it that I know. So,
cool. That's fair.
Yeah.
The one thing the book I was confused about though is they said that it was a really good. They really go into detail about how they created the sound and stuff like that, and all the different ideas. But they talk about this. There's this moment where they talk about how they slept in a castle in Ireland, and it wasn't. It was definitely Scotland. I was there. I think it's just, the way they explained it, because it was raining. It was a massive storm. I was working at the bar.
Yeah.
But it was really good because it was Connect Festival. It was called, and I had a perfect view of the stage, and everybody just came up to get drinks before the act came on. So you'd work for 20 minutes, and then you would just get a beautiful view of the stage. And Bjork played.
But
Beastie Boys.
Americans don't know the difference between Ireland and Scotland. They don't know the difference.
Yeah, I know. I don't think they did. But I'll not hold that against them.
Are you from Ireland? I've been asked that many times. We're going to Edinburgh, and then we're staying in Ireland that night. Yeah, no, you're not. They don't know the difference. It's all Celtic to them. But
and that will take us to a final topic. We'll go with the Beta Band because Beta Band have came back, and I would say
of course,
I would say the 3 EPs is a 10 for me. That's probably my favourite. I think everything the Beta Band brought out.
Mark, you may think that I couldn't possibly comment.
Yeah, it's obviously your pal, so you don't like it.
No, I do. I can comment. Right, what I would say about that is the day I heard the Patty Patty Sound EP, I heard it in London. It had just been pressed. Steve had a copy. He put it on. It blew my fucking mind. It really, really did. I think that's the best one of the 3 EPs. But yeah, it's a fucking great album collection. It's not really an album, is it? And I don't own it.
You've not got it.
I don't have a copy. I've actually got the EPs, but I don't have the collection. Yes.
Did you enjoy the reunion tour at the Barras?
Oh, it was amazing. Were you there? I didn't see you.
I was there. I remember I was going to. We did a pre-party and everything.
Yeah, I couldn't make that because I was with my kids, Mark. I was with my bairns, so it would have been an awkward thing to do. So
yeah, and then
but yeah, of course the gig was amazing.
So I went to the front for the first 4 or 5 songs, and then I had this thing, the min bit. I went to the back to the accessibility bit, so I was there for the second half. But it was amazing. It was so good to see you return. And yeah,
well, I did a terrible thing. I caused a fucking kerfuffle at the worst possible moment, which was really, really bad. Just before the band went on stage, I was backstage because I wanted to film them. I wanted to film them going up the stairs and onto the stage on my phone. I thought that'll be an amazing bit of film to have the first time, and no one else is going to get it. So I'm fucking standing there, right, and they're all milling about. Of course, they're nervous. This is a huge fucking deal. And I put my phone down somewhere, and it's dark. and then I can't find my phone, and it's like 5 minutes. They're playing that film, right? And I put my phone down, and for some reason, I went into a huge panic. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? And I'm running around, and I'm causing absolute fucking chaos at the worst possible moment in the worst possible place, and I feel absolutely terrible about it. So I'm running around. I'm going, my phone, like in a real panic. My son and daughter, and they're going, Dad, come fucking down. And I'm really like over panicking. It's not that big a deal. Steve comes up to me. He goes, for fuck's sake, Pete, fucking stop it. And I just sort of went, I suddenly realized what I was doing. That in this moment, it was completely inappropriate. Right? Really bad. So I just...
in 21 years. And
and I'm fucking it up.
Butterflies are going. And
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
There's my phone.
Yeah, really. Absolutely outrageous. I mean, really. When I think of it now, I fucking die inside. I cringe. It was such a terrible thing to do. And then I found my phone and it was all right. But I got back to the hotel later on and Steve was like, what the fuck were you doing? You know, yeah, terrible. Absolutely
it's
terrible.
Interesting to see that because Gary, who works at the bar, I gave him a vinyl to give to Steve. And so he took it backstage. And he went, do you want to come back? And I went, no, because I was worried that would just do something cringy. And I knew it was an important one.
You could never do anything worse than what I did.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was my that sounds like the worst nightmare playing out that I might have did. So I'm glad I didn't go backstage.
And I did it.
Because I had a couple of beers in me. Maybe I would have been trying to help you find the phone.
I've never done anything like that. I've never done anything like that before. You know, I'm pretty sensitive to all of that kind of stuff. I understand people. I don't know what happened. I think it's some sort of age brain fade. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I didn't just step back and stop worrying about it instead of causing fucking chaos in that moment. Really bad.
Well,
anyway,
it's an emotional environment. There's a lot of the nerves. It's the atmosphere of the bar is, and then you've got this access to this amazing bit of footage, and it's always a bit scary to lose your phone in Glasgow.
I know. I shouldn't have done that. I still wake up screaming. I wake up screaming at 4 a.m.
But how was it after the gig? Were they happy how it went? And did they?
There was a little party, but it was very muted because they're doing the gig the next day. And then I'd actually booked the same hotel as Steve by accident. Had no idea, so met him for a drink after. But it was very. Everyone was happy, and it was very. There wasn't a big like. That's fucking. Oh! Yeah, that didn't happen. You know?
Yeah, well, it was the start of a 14-day UK tour.
Exactly. I thought the gig was fucking amazing. I thought the sound was incredible. Everything was crystal clear, and I thought the band were stellar. I think it's the best I've ever seen them. Really.
Yeah. So long. It's hard to compare because it was 20. I thought I seen the last ever gig, but I was corrected that Edinburgh was the last ever gig. I seen the Barra's last ever gig, so that was
I was in
the day before or something like that.
The one I remember is Shepherd's Bush Empire being incredibly good. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure where they are now. America, Japan, I don't know.
I think they're in America because they were in. I noticed they were in Portland.
Is that where they are?
They were in Portland a couple of days ago. The same day
that
they were arresting people dressed as frogs. The ICE agents were arresting people in fancy dress. And I was like, and then there's a beta band like we're in Seattle and Portland and stuff like that. So that was a couple of days ago. I don't know where they are just now. I think they're going to Tokyo next year and stuff.
Well.
So hopefully some festivals, maybe new music. That'd be good. If they're enjoying it,
don't know.
That would be good if that.
Who knows?
But they could just play hopefully just play a couple more because there's a few folk that missed out last time. So hopefully.
It seemed very. The whole thing was everything about it was very emotional. You know. Yeah. Which is good.
It's brilliant. It's the comeback I didn't think would happen ever because Steve was quite adamant it wouldn't happen. But maybe it was always going to happen.
Oh, no, right, I think that That comeback was always going to happen. Everything's just a matter of time. That's my belief anyway. I'm not saying that in any official capacity, but I always thought it would happen, and I'm glad it did.
He said that. I remember when he was on the show. Sometimes he said that he wanted to be the antithesis of Oasis. So maybe Oasis coming back, maybe played a part in that.
Maybe it did.
Sorry.
I said maybe it did. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I've been watching an Instagram channel called Shit Oasis Tribute Bands, and I can't get enough of it.
Really? Yeah, I must have a look at that.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I've done a wee video on the YouTube channel if anyone wants my thoughts on that, but I'm enjoying it. It's a different, and it's taken me on it's made me think about all that. There's just something about people being Liam Gallagher. And I was talking to a friend the other day and I mentioned Michael Mathers, which is an Eminem tribute act. And it's just, there's just certain things that are a wee bit different from the typical tribute act, when you've got to be sort of an icon and you've got to kind of get into their mind.
I've always shied away from tribute acts. I never understand the deal. You know, the deal is I pretend, you pretend, we all pretend. I don't really get that as a format for entertainment, really. To my mind,
wrestling, the WWE.
I used to.
That's the same thing, isn't it? It's like
yeah. I pretend, you pretend, we all pretend. I get it. It's just not. I mean, it's absolutely fine. People get their entertainment from that, but for me, I just feel silly because I can't pretend. And to my mind, if you missed it, you fucking missed it. That's it. You missed it. You missed it. I never. One of my favorite bands are the Ramones. I didn't see them. There's a million tribute bands. Well, I go, well, the fuck, I missed it. So
what if the tribute bands were to incorporate steel chairs? Like with wrestling.
Steel chairs, what, wrapped in barbed wire?
Wrapped in barbed wire. Now we're talking. Yeah. The tribute bands do wrestling tour. That sounds quite good. Yeah.
Well, you get chess boxing.
No.
That's a real thing, chess boxing, where they do a bit of chess, pawn to queen's knight 4, and then they fucking bar each other. And then they do a bit of chess.
I know it's a Wu-Tang Clan song, but I didn't.
What, chess boxing?
Chess boxing, yeah.
It's a real thing, I believe.
I think it's probably.
Maybe I don't.
I think they probably came up with the song, and then somebody's went, "Why don't we actually do real chess boxing?"
Nobody knows more about chess boxing than I know about chess boxing. Yeah.
Right, Pete, how can people check out the podcast Facebook page?
Yeah. I'll give you it all. I've got it right down this piece of paper right here. Yes, if you want to watch what am I listening to and why, you can catch it on Facebook just by joining my Facebook, Peter Rankin Facebook. I will accept you. I accept all comers. In fact, you don't even need to be on my Facebook. You can just look for it. But if you want to watch old episodes of it, there's the Old Jock Radio YouTube channel, Old Jock Radio YouTube channel, and that's got about 200 videos on it, from music to fucking rants to comedy to sketches, and 35 episodes of what am I listening to and why. And they're number one is just me holding up a Pink Floyd album and going, let's talk about this. It has evolved. But yeah, the YouTube channel is a good one. We only have about 300 people subscribed to it. I keep waiting for it to explode. The fucking shit I put on there is amazing. I keep waiting for that channel to explode, but it probably never will. Also, I mean, people don't really use Facebook now, do they? That's an old man's format, apparently. I should get onto Instagram. Yes. What am I listening to and why? Get it on YouTube. Get it on the Old Jock Radio YouTube or Facebook. And the original Old Jock Radio shows are somewhere available on podcast. I would just Google that. You won't get them on Spotify.
And
that's it.
You might actually hear the Gyro Babies getting destroyed on it. But
you know what? I don't know if I've got any. That's quite early on.
Is it,
we did but we did play your records all the way.
Yeah.
We always played your stuff when you brought it out. So
yeah,
you would hear the Gyro Babies on it.
Yes, always appreciated as well. Well, so can I send you a vinyl and you can do a review?
All right then.
Yeah.
So basically, it has to be a vinyl. That's the thing.
You're allowed to destroy it. You're allowed to destroy it.
I wouldn't do that, Mark. I wouldn't do that because it's not going to be. It's not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be destroyed. It's not going to be destroy material. I only destroy things that I really think deserve it, and I very rarely destroy things. I find good in everything. I mean, I always say this is not very good, but this is really good. I don't really destroy things that much, but I do take a pop at stuff. But you know, what the hey? Why not?
Thanks to everybody who's tuned in, and there's Epi done the right thing, has subscribed to Old Jock Radio, and looking forward to checking out some more reviews. Thanks, Peter. So yeah, everyone do that. Go and follow, subscribe to Old Jock Radio, and add Peter Rankin.
Follow me on Facebook, and you get them as they come out.
Yes, you get it as it happens. Always a pleasure, Pete.
You too, man. Nice to see you, Mark.
And send me your address, and I'll get a Dreams Are Mental vinyl sent out to you. And thank you very much, mate. Thanks to the patrons as well for supporting the show at patreon.com/You Call That Radio. The next show is a very special one. No idea when, no idea where, but I think it'll be on Thursday, because by Thursday I'll have my lighting and my real microphones back. So we'll do, we're going to upgrade it for Thursday. I hope everybody's very well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.